Hey, it's John. Welcome back to the show, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Live Cuts. The premise of this series is to talk about live albums that don't get enough love or recognition before we talk about the album we will be discussing today. Let me introduce my distinguished guests who are making subsequent appearances here on John the Music Nut. First, to my left, you know him from his appearances on Grant's Rock Warehouse. You also know him, if you follow this channel, as the man who created the logo for this channel and also named this show The Live Cut. I'm talking about Ernesto Ramos. Welcome, my friend.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
All
Good
right.
to be here, John.
You got it. It's great to have you here, Ernesto. And below us, you will certainly know him from his appearance here on John the Music Nut on the Live Cut series, as well as his appearances on his channel that he has with Sydney called Slogan's Rock and Metal Extravaganza, as well as his appearances on Curlis Mania. You've been on Grant's Rock Warehouse too, right?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, yeah.
I've been at a couple places.
There you go. We got our friend Logan Collins. Welcome to the show, Logan.
Hey John, thanks for inviting me on again, man. And I'm glad to do this with you and Ernesto. I'm excited for this.
Excellent. Great to have you here. And today we are going to talk about a band that I did a full series on earlier this year. This is Thin Lizzy with their second live album, released in October 1983 on Vertigo Records all over the world, except for the United States. It came out on Warner Brothers Records. Life, also called Life Live. This was recorded at the Hammersmith Odeon in London, England. We continue the great underrated live albums that were recorded at the Hammersmith Odeon here. These songs were recorded on the Renegade tour in 1981 and the Thunder and Lightning tour in 1983, specifically November 27, 1981. We got 3 songs from that show. The rest of the shows or the songs were from Hammersmith Odeon. And I looked on Wikipedia and it also said there were appearance shows from the Leisure Land in Galway, Ireland. And I checked it out on Setlist FM and I couldn't see they didn't have a set list on there.
Right.
So we're just going to say this was all from Hammersmith Odeon. If any of you out there watching know what songs on here were recorded in Galway, Ireland at the Leisure Land, please let us know in the comments. So let's talk about who played on this album. We have the incomparable Phil Lynott, however you want to say it, on bass guitar and lead vocals. Scott Gorham on guitar and backing vocals. John Sykes, guitar and backing vocals on the shows from 1983. Darren Wharton on keyboards and backing vocals. Brian Downey on drums and percussion. Snowy White on guitar on the tracks from 1981. We also have special appearances by Gary Moore, Brian Robertson, and Eric Bell, all on lead guitar. We have 19 songs on here. 12 songs were not on their original live album, which came out in 1978, and that would be the very popular and very famous Live and Dangerous live album. This is considered one of the best hard rock live albums of the 1970s, certainly. And there's the back of it. This is that tour was recorded on the Bad Reputation tour. So this one here was recorded from both Renegade and Thunder and Lightning. So let's talk about the album. I'm going to lead the discussion, and Ernesto and Logan are going to bounce off me. We're going to just have a great freeform discussion like we normally do here. Okay, when I listen to this album, I like this album a lot. I don't love it. Phil sounds tired. I think his vocals sound tired anyway. He still has that endless charisma that you hear in full bloom on Live and Dangerous. The performances on here are pretty strong, though, including Phil's bass guitar. You can really hear Phil's bass guitar up in the mix, particularly when the bass is the only instrument or it's playing the lead part in a certain song, particularly on the tracks Renegade and Waiting for an Alibi. The guitars on here are great. I think John Sykes sounds fantastic on this album.
Yep.
The songs that are on Thunder and Lightning, there's 5 tracks on here for Thunder and Lightning. I think they really get a nice punch on here. The songs that were originally on Live and Dangerous, I think don't hit those versions, except for Are You Ready? But we'll get more into that as we go along. This was actually recorded, well, most of these tracks anyway, were recorded on what would be Thin Lizzy's farewell tour, and they had said that at that point. After this tour was over, just a little over 2 years later, on January 4, 1986, Phil Lynott would no longer be with us. He would pass away at age 36. So when I listen to this album, the performances are still here. The fire is still here. Phil sounds tired. I think at times, like it sounds sometimes that John's really leading the way. John's really put a fire in them on some of these songs, because I know at this point that Scott was also having a lot of drug issues.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say this is Live and Dangerous Part 2, because I don't think the songs from Chinatown forward were as strong as the songs that were on Live and Dangerous. But I do like the recording on here. We're at the Hammersmith Odeon, and they, as we've talked about on previous shows here on the live cut, they're usually pretty rowdy audiences. They sound very, very rowdy on here. They're really, really into it. So that really is a plus when you have a live album. So what would you say would be the highlights on this album song-wise? And either one of you could start.
I would start off, if Logan's okay with me starting off. I would start off technically with Thunder and Lightning. I think this is the one that just opens up the gates for everything. We're talking the double timing, the drumming, harmonized guitars, everything. I mean, Lynott's bass, Downey's drumming, everything is, man, on point. And Sykes, when he plays guitar, man, he is on fire on this. And a lot of people don't understand is when you hear Thunder and Lightning, it's almost like this type of I wouldn't call it a rap, but it's rapid fire just like
It's
the
constant
singing.
talk. Yeah,
Yeah, the
constant singing.
talking and singing way before rap, almost way
Oh,
even if it predates rap, but he's
Right.
able to sing, he's able to sing and not pause. He doesn't even take a break. It's amazing that he could do that in his
yeah.
condition and his, you know.
And all while he's laying them 8th notes down on his bass, man. I mean, it's
Yeah,
crazy, you know.
exactly. But
And
it's
yeah,
heavy.
kind of like what John was talking about. I mean, Phil wasn't in the best condition during this time period.
Right.
You know, the whole band kind of was starting to like, cave into their demons and stuff. But I think a
Yeah.
song like that they really give it their all. And I think John Sykes has a lot to bring to that, that energy and that fire. I think he brought that back to the band a little bit in a way on some of these
Oh,
songs.
yeah. Right. And there's a lot of heavy play, and it's like back and forth between Sykes and Gordon. And it's like there's no auto tune on this baby. This sucker is pure line singing. Everybody's on point, man. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Yeah.
What can you say, you know?
Uh huh.
One thing I'll say about
So,
this song, I love how Darren
Right.
John are bouncing back and forth with their solos.
Yeah, great keyboard work
The
there, man. Yeah.
keyboard work on here is great, and I
Yeah.
think it has even more fire here than it does on the original version of Thunder and Lightning. That I certainly like. But yeah, Phil isn't singing; he's shouting here. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can say okay, partly rap, okay, but he's shouting. I mean,
Yeah.
he's shouting on the original too, but here he's really shouting.
Oh yeah.
That I would definitely say.
It's an emotional song. It's a great song. It's like, I mean, it's one of their heaviest songs on that album, you know?
Well, speaking of heavy, if I could, one of the highlights for me on this record would be track 9, which is Angel of Death.
Oh yeah.
Really, really love that one, man. And I think that could have started like that's like an opener to me almost, you know. And I
Yeah.
think there are live recordings on YouTube of the band playing, and I think they do start the concert with that. You know, Sykes really brings a heaviness to that song. You know, this song and Are You Ready? They just flow into each other really well on this record, I thought. You know, they're both. I mean, this is like borderline metal for Thin Lizzy to me. These two
Right.
songs, and I love what John does on the lead on Angel of Death, and Darren gets his chance to shine on that song too. So yeah, and I always loved Phil's lyrics. You know, one of my favorite lyricists ever, especially on a tune like that. You know, Angel of Death, and Are You Ready is just like a good like get the crowd amped up, and rolling, kind of like what John was saying. I mean, the crowd's into this, completely. So,
And whoever said that keyboards ain't rock and roll, they're crazy because when you hear the keyboards on that, that's
oh
awesome,
man,
man.
awesome, yeah.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, Logan, because that brings up a couple points that I've talked about with Thin Lizzy in the past. Number one, Angel of Death is one of my favorite Thin Lizzy songs, period.
Yep.
Renegade is one of my least favorite albums by Thin Lizzy, but you can't deny Angel of Death. That is
Oh man.
positive that you can bring a keyboard to a song and actually make it heavier.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Number two, another thing I've said is I feel that one of the most exciting moments in rock and roll is on Live and Dangerous, or whenever you saw Thin Lizzy live back in the day, when they would go, Phil would sing that last line in Cowboy song,
Oh yeah.
and
Yep.
then they just do those power chords and the explosions and go right into Boys Are Back in Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love that too. Yep.
When I saw them in 2011, they did that. But what comes really close in the Thin Lizzy canon to me, as far as excitement, is the end of Angel of Death into Are You Ready?
Yeah, John, I love that too, man. Yep.
That just works seamlessly. To me,
Oh yeah.
if you compare the 7 songs that were originally on Live and Dangerous, and then on here, the version of Are You Ready is better here, is, in my opinion, better here than on Live and Dangerous. And it's faster
Right.
and more dry.
Yeah, I mean it's like borderline almost, metal really.
Well, this is considered a heavy metal album, is Thunder and Light.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't think all the album is metal, because
Right, yeah.
you got the subdued, moody track, The Sun Goes Down, which is on here.
Or like Bad Habits or something, right?
And
Yeah.
Bad Habits is a lot more melodic, and that's another killer song.
Yep.
But that's considered by the longtime fans to be the Thin Lizzy heavy metal album.
Oh yeah. And that's a lot in part due to John's playing, right? I mean, he
Oh,
just
yes.
brings like that fire from the Tigers of Pantang band, and
Yeah.
he just really brings that he injects that into Lizzie's sound. And I know that was a lot of, people's concern, a lot of the people who liked Live and Dangerous and Johnny the Fox and Jailbreak, you're sacrificing some of the melodies for, the heaviness. But, I think at the same time, I think it was something they needed to do at this time, because they tried. I mean, all of us know here, Chinatown and Renegade really didn't set the world on fire.
No.
So they kind of had to switch things up and try something different.
Speaking of Chinatown, we only get one song from Chinatown here.
Yeah, man.
And it's a killer version, no pun intended, of Killer on the Loose.
Yeah.
Nope.
If you were to add another one from Chinatown on here, what would you add?
Ernesto, you want to take that first?
That's a good question because I like Chinatown. That's like my favorite
Oh
song.
man, I love Chinatown. I if I'm gonna,
Would you add
I'll
that
answer.
song to this album? Is what I'm saying. Would you add
Oh
the
yeah,
song
definitely. Yeah,
Chinatown?
I would.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm
That's
saying,
what I was gonna say, John. Yep, hundred
okay, to
percent.
me, it's a no-brainer. You got to add
Right.
Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting when I mentioned when I saw them live, they did Killer on the Loose as one of the encores that night, but there were
Right.
other nights on the tour they would flip flop that in Chinatown. I don't know
Nice.
why they weren't playing them both, but I mean, well, there's pretty strong catalog. You got to get a lot of stuff in.
Oh yeah. And you mentioned the three tracks with Snowy White were, different from the ones with Sykes. I
Right.
never really noticed that until you kind of dive into the record a little bit more, You can kind of tell after but because
Yeah.
Snowy White's a total different player than Sykes, but it brings another. I'm glad they did that because he wasn't really. I mean, they thought this was going to be what it was. This was like the last release thing Lizzy ever did while they were a band. So it's cool
And
they
you,
have all the guitar players on it.
and the funny thing is, you would never think that Snowy White would fit in because he's just totally opposite of everything they do. You know?
Yeah, I mean even Snowy White said that, right? He kind of thought he was an outsider compared to the
Yeah.
other guys. So
Yeah. But then you
He's
could say that about Brian Robinson. You could say that about, all these other guys, you
oh
know.
yeah.
well, it's interesting with Snowy White because for most of his recording career, touring career, I think he's mostly played with Roger Waters,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
completely different style of music.
Right.
But he's more of a blues sound to his playing. I thought he fit in well with
Oh
the.
yeah.
I don't know. He wasn't quite as flashy as John Sykes, and maybe not as distinctive as Gary or Brian Robert, Gary Moore
Right.
or Brian Robertson, but I still thought he fit in quite well. And he plays on 3 tracks on here. He plays on Renegade, Hollywood, and Killer on the Loose.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think the version of Killer on the Loose on here smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of got that crowd participation part. Phil kind of singing the whole story of how he, came about that whole the song. Because it's based on an actual like serial killer, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
there was a Killer
Yeah.
on the Loose at the time this was recorded. That helped
Yeah.
the song go top 10.
Well, there was actually two killers. There was the one from Manchester and then the one
Mhm.
from San Francisco. So he was
Wow.
getting both vibes.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
John, you mentioned a song from Chinatown. I think Genocide would have been a cool one to put on there. Killing
Okay.
of the
Yeah.
Buffalo, that song, yeah. I
Yeah.
I
think I
always
would
like
have went down.
I always liked the music in that song. I was never crazy about the lyrics. It kind of sounded sometimes Phil wrote too many words in a line.
Right,
That's
right, yeah.
kind of what the vibe I got on there. Although when you talk about that album, that might be my favorite song on the second side. It is my
Right.
favorite song on the second side. Because I think
Cool.
that was when Phil's creative juices finally started running out. I think was on that second half of Chinatown because I thought from Vagabonds of the Western World right through Black Rose, he had this excellent run of great
Yeah,
songs.
it's phenomenal, man. Yeah.
Oh my, yes. Another thing that I've said on many shows talking about Thin Lizzy, including one that's going to be coming up on Tim's Vinyl Confessions, I would put that 7 album run
Right.
from Vagabonds of the Western World through Black Rose against
Right.
any other rock band of the 70s. I would
Yeah.
put that up against Zeppelin, Sabbath, Aerosmith, Queen. Santana had a fantastic 7 album run too. Doesn't get it discussed much, but I would put the Thin Lizzy run from 73 to 79 up against
Yeah.
all of
Yeah,
them.
I'd agree with you, man. 100%.
A lot of
And
people think,
the one thing that's missing from this album too is they got everybody in here, everybody that was in Thin Lizzy except one guy, and I'm not even including the other guys on the side projects and all that. But the one guy that was missing, and I think you guys know who he is. His name was Midge Urge.
oh,
No.
mid-year, that's
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
He's
true.
not on
Yeah.
the album. He didn't come out with them playing live, and I really miss that because he's such a great guitarist, man.
Yeah, it's true, man. They
I
should have had
mean,
him come out maybe.
He
he
only
is
played like
great,
a
man.
few shows with him when Brian wasn't in the band for a while, when
Right.
Phil fired him for a while after he got in a fist fight and he broke his hand and missed some days.
Yeah. Yep. But
Yeah,
that
mid
guy was great.
yeah, he co-wrote Get Out of Here from Black Rose.
When you see him
Another
play, man,
great
it's
song. Yeah.
like
Mhm.
waiting for an alibi. Wow. He gets down on guitar, man. He is like,
Well, speaking of that, I mean the live version on here, I think that might be my favorite. Well, not that one. I got it confused. I always get waiting for an alibi and got to give it up confused because I kind
oh,
of like Phil's little stage rap thing on got to give
Mhm.
it up. You know,
yeah.
it's talking about like the dangers of rock and roll and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. But I like, when the leads come in, Phil like kind of plays on Scott Gorham's name and John Sykes' name because he says, I know when John Sykes plays his lead, he says, "Hey Johnny, play a little more for me," because Gary Moore did the lead on that.
Yeah.
Cool, man. And what does he say for Scott Gorham? It's like great Scott. you know, Phil is awesome, man. I mean, I watched so many live, things of Phil Lynott. That's
Yeah.
one of the guys I wish I could have seen.
Yeah.
But
Me too, man.
yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand though is that being a Thin Lizzy fan, you have to understand Phil when he was writing from the love of being over here where we live, like from the West. He loved writing
Mhm.
about the old West, gangsters,
Oh yeah.
funk. He liked writing
Cowboy
about
song. Yeah.
lowriders. He liked writing about all that stuff growing up. And a lot of people didn't understand that because when we grew up, we liked all this stuff from, Europe. You know what I mean?
hmm
Knights in armor and all that stuff. But
Right.
Phil,
Yeah.
he wrote about stuff that we grew up, cowboys and Indians and all that stuff. And that's
Right.
what a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand in his writing. So
Yeah.
that
And
that's a little pointer right there.
Phil kind of had like a universal thing to him too. I
Yeah.
mean, like "Still in Love with You." Anybody can relate to a song like that, right?
Oh yeah.
So
And that
yeah,
brings up
that's
a
what
good
made it so
point.
good.
That brings up a good point too. You made a very strong observation there about Phil was writing more about American things, but
American culture.
early
Yeah.
on
Right.
he was writing predominantly about Ireland.
Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah.
listen to the first album in particular, that
Right.
album it's like he's writing a Van Morrison album.
Right.
Because you got Mellotron on some songs, you got a lot more story songs on there.
Yeah.
And Phil sang with so much expression, just
Right.
like Van Morrison did throughout his career. I always like to say that's like their Van Morrison album. It's like one of those different yet interesting albums that we have from these legacy bands. They'll put out that early album where they're trying to find their way, but it's still really good. It's just different.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
And
different.
but then later on, when they started to really get a following here in the States, opening for a lot of bigger bands. And by that point, they had the Scott Gorham, Brian Robertson tandem there at guitar. It was getting to be more American things and things that he was seeing on the road and things that he was reading about and hearing about here in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would
I think he has a great like progression as a songwriter. Like compared to what John was just talking about with the first record to where we are here at the end of the career, basically. For Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
Very different.
Here's something that I always ask at the beginning of the show, and I forgot to do that this time. And Ernesto, I'll start with you. When did you first discover Thin Lizzy's music?
I think I remember listening to Thin Lizzy probably right out of I think I was going to junior high school, I think.
Okay.
So you gotta understand there was a period of junior high when it was 1982, 83. So new age of heavy metal was coming in. But there was
Right.
already these bands that were already considered dinosaurs, like Zeppelin and all that. And I think
Right.
that's when I got into Thin Lizzy because I was experimenting with other bands and listening to other music. But more or less, I think 82, 83. That was the year.
Cool.
What would the first song be?
Oh, wow. It was probably the Jailbreak album, I think.
Okay, so you heard the album back in 82 and 83?
I think so, yeah. From memory serves me right. I think so. That was probably one of the first. I didn't have it on 8-track though. I had it
That was
on
my next
cassette.
question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Logan,
And
when
then
did you first hear Thin Lizzy?
oh,
So the first time I ever got into Thin Lizzy really in a big way, I visited the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland,
oh,
Ohio, right?
Oh, nice.
And
cool.
and I bought two best of compilations there on my first trip. One was the Spirit of Radio with the best of Rush. I
Okay,
think it was like 74 to 80 or something like that.
that was it.
And the other one was the definitive collection of Thin Lizzy, which I brought along with me here.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So it's just kind of like a play on the dedication best of.
Right.
It's just a little bit later on. But yeah, I started loving all the songs on this. Couple tunes that are on I think the live version of Rosalie and yeah, Cowgirl song. It's on there from Live and Dangerous. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
probably the first song I ever heard was probably Boys Are Back in Town, like probably a lot of
Right.
people. And when you get into a band like this, you just realize they got so much more stuff. I mean, it's just it's too bad like that's the one song everybody knows like here, unless you're like
Right.
a pretty diehard fan. Because they could have had plenty of hits, I think, personally. But
Oh,
yeah,
I agree.
that compilation.
Okay, well, I first heard Thin Lizzy on Rock 107 WECX FM, Scranton, Pennsylvania, still locally owned and operated back in the day, back to when I like to call the glory days of classic rock.
Right.
I used to hear like 12 songs, 15 different songs, or 20 different songs by various artists. But with Thin Lizzy, when I was growing up and into my 20s, you'd only hear three, the three big songs from Jailbreak. So I had to get into Thin Lizzy on my own. And how I got into them, Logan, was I bought the dedication Best of
Oh,
Thin
yeah.
Lizzy disc.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I
Yep.
bought that in 99. And my
Oh,
first
okay.
and my first studio CD I bought by them was a few years later, and that would have been Jailbreak. And then by
Nice.
the end of the 2000s, I had the majority of their catalog, whether I had burned copies from eMusic or I had the original CDs. This one, this was the last one I bought, except for the acoustic sessions that just came
Right.
out this
Right.
past January. This is the album by them that was an official release that I have the least experience with.
Mm-hmm.
The first three albums with Eric Bell on them, I actually didn't buy until the pandemic shut everything down, and all we could do is buy music and watch YouTube.
Right.
So that was when I finally completed my collection at that time. Well, except for this album. So yeah, it was weird because Thin Lizzy was really big in Europe. They had top 10 hits. They had gold albums there, albums that went silver. Renegade had hits over in the UK, but you rarely heard them much here. I will say this. We did have a heavy metal show on our college radio station here called WRKC, Radio Kings College, and they would play music. They would play heavy metal from 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the mid to late 80s, I can't tell you exactly what year, was the first time I heard Holy War.
Right.
It was the first time I heard Leave This Town. And I'm trying to think, those were the ones that I remember.
Right.
And Holy War was interesting because I remember hearing it back then, but not knowing it was a Thin Lizzy song until many, many years later.
Mm.
I thought it was some song called We Are Chosen.
All right. Yeah. That's
And
what he
I
says
didn't know
over
it
and
was
over,
Thin
right?
Lizzy until
Right.
I bought Thunder and Lightning many, many years later. I'm like, oh, this is that song. Now I remember, yeah, that's how it was.
Right.
But I do remember Leave This Town. I remember having it on a TDK cassette when I used to tape songs off the radio.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
But John, you made a good point about kind of they were more successful in the UK than the US. Because even
Right.
this album we're talking about, I mean, the UK it got to number 29 in the charts, and here it only got to 185. So
yes,
I mean, that right there kind of tells you everything, really.
exactly. What's a number 29 in the UK, Sweden, and Scotland? And here it
Yep.
just barely cracked the album charts, probably for a couple weeks at best.
Yeah.
So, what are some other standout tracks for you here?
Oh,
Well,
go ahead. Go ahead.
you okay if I go, Ernesto? All right. Probably to me, most of all of side four to me is excellent. You know, I mean, Emerald into Black Rose into Still in Love with You into the Rocker,
Yeah,
and
the
that's kind of
rocker.
like when they start bringing out the guests. Brian Robertson plays guitar on Emerald, kind of like reuniting the Jailbreak lineup, which is
They
pretty
got the
cool.
call and
Darren,
response there between Scott and Brian
yeah,
on the
and that's
Slogan.
awesome, man. I mean, that's one of the highlights of the Lizzy catalog, right? I mean, Emerald is just one of their best tunes. And Black Rose gives probably Gary Moore's big highlight, tune for Thin Lizzy, playing all the Celtic, traditional songs in between Phil's
Right.
lyrics.
Like Danny Boy.
Kind of a love letter to Ireland, I always said. And Still in Love with You is a great, spotlight for, I think Brian plays that lead. I
John
can't
Sykes
remember.
actually plays it.
John
Sykes?
Sykes.
Okay. Yeah,
I
Sykes
think
does
he
a
does a
great job on that.
wonderful version on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And kind of what you were talking about earlier, John. I know Phil sounds kind of tired on a lot of this album, but I think like on the ballads, it kind of like adds to the atmosphere of the songs, like
Yeah.
Still in Love with You and The Sun Goes Down, you feel every like word he sings in these songs because of that, like, being on the road and weary and kind of all that kind of deal. But yeah, and I like the love the rocker. I thought that was a great ender to the record because you get you get Eric, Gary, and Brian all up there at the same time with the rest of the other guys playing, which that's just a great ending to the record. I thought, and I always loved the rocker. That was like one of the that was on this comp, the second
Yeah.
track on this comp. So
Yeah.
I played that song over and over, man, when I first heard it. I love that lead guitar in that song. Eric Bell is a underlooked guitar player for
That
sure.
was his first great solo, though. His
Oh
first
yeah.
great solo was the rocker.
Well, to me, John, I like the first two records. When Vagabonds, that's
Right.
when it starts getting really good to me. That's
Right.
like, yeah. So,
Yeah, Vagabonds, I thought was like a quantum leap forward from Shades.
oh yeah, big time, big time.
Yeah.
How about you,
But
Ernesto? What are some of your highlights, other highlights that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I'm gonna
yeah, I stole a
do.
whole side, Ernesto. I'm sorry.
I know you did a whole side. Um, the songs that stand out for me, my number one would be, of course, Cold Sweat, because when you hear Cold
Uh,
Sweat and John Sykes is on top of that, he's just ripping through those
that
solos.
lead break, man, with that tapping.
To
Oh man.
this day, Dave Mustaine said, "Oh, nobody could play that solo. Nobody can play that solo." He's tried. He even covered the song,
Yes, he did.
and
Yeah.
he
Yep.
said it's one of the hardest solos to learn. And believe me, it's hard to if you hear that solo, and man, it's like, whew, it's intense, man. It's
Yeah.
just a killer song, you know. But that's Sykes, and that's why
Oh
he's
yeah.
on Thin Lizzy because he's badass, you know.
100%.
And then, of course, another favorite of mine is "Still in Love with You" because it's just a beautiful power ballad. I mean, it's kind of melancholy, but it's still a great song. I love it. It's just something about it. It's whether you're in love, you're not in love, but when you hear that song, you like, wow, it really, it's a heartbreaking song. And the great thing about that song is covered by a lot of people don't know this, but that song was covered by Sade.
Oh, I didn't know
Now,
Wow.
that.
Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
know that
and
either. Wow.
go
That's
listen to the
awesome.
Sade. Go listen to the Sade version. Oh my God, it's badass. It's so. Just picture her voice singing "Still in Love with You." Man, it'll blow you away, dude. I mean,
Wow.
what a great tribute, man. Beautiful tribute.
Have to seek
Um,
that out, man. Yeah, I didn't know
yeah,
anything
you
about
gotta
that.
listen to it, man. It's just a great tribute, man. I love that song. And
Cool.
you know, besides Still in Love with You and Logan mentioned a lot of great songs, but Cold Sweat, Are You Ready? Of Angel of Death. I mean, I'm a big Thin Lizzy fan. I could say all of them.
Right.
Oh yeah,
But
I mean there
but
isn't a dud to me in any of them,
no,
you know.
no. Now, here's the kicker though. Now, when I think about the Thin Lizzy album, Live, do I compare it to UFO Strangers in the Night? No. Do I compare it to Rainbow on Stage? Not really. And do I compare it to the main one, which is Live and Dangerous? Not really. I think it holds on its own what
Yeah.
it should be, It's
Mhm.
a type of album that it pushes them into the 80s, you know? And
Well,
it would
Yeah.
probably feel like, man, what could have been? You know what I mean? What could
Oh
have been
yeah,
their
man.
sound?
Yeah.
What could have been their sound? Where could they have gone and taken that sound with John Sykes?
Kind of contradicting what Ernesto's saying too. I think there's like a sense of finality with this record too, in a way, you know. I just think that's why they did it the way they did, you know. Had all the
Right.
guys come out but
Yes.
yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, to me, I know this was probably like a weak point with all the heroin use and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if Phil could have got clean, man, and who knows what they could have done.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
one of the
yeah.
biggest what ifs.
Yeah. And the sound on this album, this is cleaned up really good compared to the vinyl. And a lot of people don't know this, but there's been three versions of this album. The original Vertigo, uh, they had another reissue on Wounded Bird,
that's what
and
I
then they
have.
had, oh, you got the Wounded Bird? Okay,
I
that one.
do.
Oh, okay, see. And then they had the Metal Blade version.
The
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Metal Blade? I didn't know that.
Metal Blade reissued the albums for a while, and then they disappeared. I don't know what happened.
Hmm.
And the good thing is the Thin Lizzy recordings, the actual recordings, the tapes did not get burned in the fire at Warner Brothers because the original tapes are in Europe.
Okay.
Okay. So
Well,
when that fire happened, there was actually two fires. A lot of the master tapes got burnt. Like, man, everybody lost their master recordings. Heart, the Eagles, and God knows who else.
Right,
And
yeah.
I was thinking to myself, oh my God, all the Thinly master recordings are gonna be gone, man, because I thought they were here in the States. But when they remastered this, you can tell the difference. You could hear it. It doesn't sound digital, even though it's on digital, but it sounds so clean. You know, you know the difference. You can hear it, You don't have to be too much of a critic, but you can hear a little bit of the difference.
let me ask
Nice.
you I'm sorry to interrupt you, Logan. I got a question regarding that then. How is the drum sound on that Metal Blade version? Because the one thing about this album, I think Brian, as always, does a sensational job.
Right,
The drums, I don't know, it's almost like a drum machine at times
right,
on
right.
this album. How do the drums have more fullness on the Metal Blade?
I think it sounds just like the album. I don't really think they changed much. I
Okay.
really don't because Metal Blades is here in the States. Um, I think the better version is the Wounded Bird version because
Okay.
that's the one from Europe
Right.
and they have access to the tapes. Whereas Metal Blades is in Europe. They were just probably, I mean, Metal Blade is in the United States. They were using the digital copies, you know?
Gotcha.
So I honestly think the Wounded Bird version and the new version is better. I mean, but that's my opinion.
I did see I was reading about this album. I did see they put a reissue out, I think in 2023.
Right,
And I guess they didn't add anything, like different bonus tracks or stuff like
right,
that to
right,
that version. Because I guess the master tapes of the Hammersmith shows, I guess they're missing, which kind of
right.
sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess what we get is what we get. I mean, it's
Yeah, and
kind
it's
of,
not
yeah.
bad. It's really
Oh,
not
it's
No, it's
bad.
great album, man. I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not bad. Forget about the bonus tracks. If we're missing any bonus tracks, I don't really think we need it. I think I'm happy with everything that's on here. Now, do I think they're gonna come out with a bigger box set? I don't know because Live and Dangerous came out in a box set, but this hasn't came out in a box set. So, but this
But
was the this is the only one that they remastered, but they didn't even add any tracks, so I'm happy with it.
Well, you gotta wonder too if there's a lot for this one to be like given the live and dangerous treatment. You know, I
Right.
mean, I guess they might not be able to if they don't have the master tapes. You know, but
Right. And I forgot to mention, I also, sorry, Logan, I forgot to mention the BBC One recordings. If you guys heard those?
I've heard a few
I
of
have.
them here and there as bonus tracks on some of the other albums.
Yeah, the BBC One live one with John Sykes on it. That was the farewell when they played the Reading Festival. That was the last one. That was the last Reading Festival that they played with John Sykes, and that one sounds really good. If you ever get a copy of it, get it. It's really good.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question for you both. What do you think of the version of Don't Believe a Word on here, which is actually in the Gary Moore tradition on his version on Back on the Streets?
Mm.
Ernesto, you want to take it?
I prefer this version.
Okay.
Wow,
I do.
interesting.
I love Gary Moore, but there's a difference between Phil's voice, which I like, and I like Gary's voice too. But Gary is like every other guitarist that thinks they know how to sing, but they're out there, trying to be singers. But Phil's always got a great voice. You know what I mean? He was born to sing, man. He's got a great voice.
What do you think of the arrangement, though? Because the original version on Johnny the Fox just grabs you by the throat.
Yeah, up tempo.
We
Yeah,
got the slower version that's similar to what Gary Moore did on Back on the Streets, which, by the way, Phil and Brian Downey played on.
Right. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't heard it in a long time, but I still prefer Phil's voice over Gary's. But that's just my opinion.
I'm definitely a bigger fan of the 2 minute and 19-second version. It comes in, kicks your ass, and gets out, but still has hooks galore.
Right.
That was actually
I did a show on Tom Curlis's channel all about like Jailbreak and Johnny the Fox, and I was reading about like Johnny the Fox, and Phil actually did write it like in that slow paced tempo, like Don't Believe a Word. So it's kind of interesting to, I know on Gary Moore's album it's like that, but to hear, the Thin Lizzy version of that. And I kind of like the version on here too, because they kind of combine both, I mean, I know it's short at the end, but they kind of do the little fast part, the energetic Johnny the Fox version at the end.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm like John. I mean, I heard the original version from Johnny the Fox on this comp, so I'm partial to that. But
while you're on that comp, how many songs is that chronological?
I think it is, John. Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay.
Whiskey in the Jars first, and it gets to Dedication at the end.
Okay. Okay, so from the Johnny the Fox album, what do you have from that on there besides Don't Believe a Word? Or is
that's all it's got? That's all it's got, John. Don't Believe a Word.
Just like Dedication.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd say this and Dedication are very similar. I'm not sure, but
okay. Let me ask you this then. What's the last song before Dedication?
Chinatown is.
Okay, so it's like practically the same one. Is it 19 songs?
This one's 16, so it's a little shorter. Okay. Yep. Universal Music put this out in 2006, so it's a little bit newer than Dedication, but it's roughly the same.
Let me show you this really quick. Here's my Dedication single. I don't know if you can see it.
Nice. Man. Well, move it over a little bit to the other way.
We're talking about Dedication though. So
much. Now now you can see it. We don't see your
killer.
See the album.
That's a killer song though, right?
There we go.
I mean,
awesome. Can you see it now?
So that's the Dedication single.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. It's got Dedication, Cold Sweat, Emerald Live, and Still in Love with You Live. So it's pretty cool. I found it. I said, "Oh, I'm snatching this up. You're never gonna see this again."
Oh yeah, you'll never see it
I've
again,
never seen that out in a while. I didn't even know that existed. I mean, I
snatched it up. Remember, there's two versions of Dedication though. There's the European version and the American version.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the only difference is on the American version, they have Out in the Fields.
Oh, sweet.
Didn't didn't Grand Slam have a? Is that the same? Didn't Grand Slam do a version of Dedication?
They
Or is
did a
that
version, yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song, man. I've always loved that song ever since they had that comp. I mean,
Yeah. That's a good compilation. I mean, even though there's like a million compilations of Thin Lizzy,
oh, there's all kinds. Yeah.
there's so many, it's hard to pick which one's good,
Yeah.
But anyways,
One
I love
highlight
this
for me
album.
on this album truly is the version of Black Rose, but they have Gary Moore guesting on it. And I was
Yes.
telling this story recently that you'll see it on Tim's Vinyl Confessions in a couple of weeks. I saw Thin Lizzy once,
Right.
and it was long after Phil had passed. And it would be the version of Thin Lizzy that would later become Black Star Riders.
Right.
So they had Ricky Warwick on lead vocals. They had Marco Mendoza on bass. They had Scott Gorham on guitar, Brian Downey on drums. And for that tour, which only ran through the summer, they had Vivian Campbell on lead guitar.
Wow.
Ooh,
And
nice.
that was a very memorable show for me. It was at Penn Speak in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Not a lot of people there, but what a show. It was killer. And I was reading interviews with Vivian. Now, Vivian grew up in Ireland. He was coming of age when Thin Lizzy were putting out these big albums. And he said his lifelong dream was to play in Thin Lizzy. And that dream came true for him on that tour.
Right.
And they did 2 encores that night. And the last song they did was Black Rose. And Vivian did the Gary solo. And it was insane. I was crying like a baby. It was awesome.
Wow.
It was one of my best concert memories ever at Penn Speak. And I've seen probably 120 shows there.
Wow.
And it was awesome. And they were hitting everything. They did Angel of Death that night too, and it was killer. And they had they had Darren Wharton in the band too. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
So he was there too, but it was a wicked set. And they played about a good 2 hours that night. But I just wanted to mention that because then you get Gary Moore back in here playing that unforgettable solo here, which is a lot of it's unaccompanied, which is wonderful.
It's so
Awesome,
epic.
John.
It's like very Irish identity, heritage, everything is about in that song, Black Rose. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Well, it's like the best Gary and Phil combination there, that song, man. I mean, Phil's lyrics and Gary's guitar playing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Downey's drumming. Don't forget about that.
Oh man, Brian Downey. I could talk about Brian Downey like all day, man.
Wicked drummer.
That Bad Reputation song. I mean, come on, listen to them fills.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, those Stop on a Dime fills in Bad Reputation are insane.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He's
what a band, man, right?
drummer.
What a band. I mean,
no doubt about it. There was so much talent in the band. Ernesto, you are one of the big 8-track men out here on YouTube. How about you show us some of your Thin Lizzy 8-tracks if you got them handy?
Well, I got Live and Dangerous.
Oh, that's been gone through the war a few times.
Yeah. But I got one that you rarely don't see. I got the Canadian version.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Nice, man.
I got the Canadian version. And then I got, of course, Johnny the Fox.
Excellent.
Yeah. That's a classic album.
Yeah, I got, let me see. Oh, I got Black Rose.
There you go.
I got Black Rose. Right now. And then I probably got
Nightlife. I'll really be blown away if he has Nightlife.
I do. I got the Canadian version of Bad Reputation, still sealed.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. It's got a cover on it. It's covered up. Give me a second. I got Phil Lynott soloing in Soho.
Oh, Solo in Soho.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's kind of dark. It's hard to see, but
right, I can see it.
Right,
that's a good album. That's a good album too. Let me see. I'm trying to find the rest of them. I should have brought more out, but I don't even know where I put the rest of them. Hold on.
Yeah, what was the other Phil solo album? I like them both.
It was just called the Phil Lynott album.
That
The other
one,
one
yeah.
was
I
just
like
called the
both
Phil
of them.
Lynott album. I do have
Yeah.
that on vinyl. Yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah.
Oh, I got Chinatown.
There's
Nice.
Chinatown.
And
Yep.
this is a hard one to find on 8-track.
Hmm.
Very hard. So I got Chinatown. I pretty much have all of them, except the only one I don't have, and I've never seen it, is Thunder and Lightning.
Okay.
I have
Wow.
all of them. I have from the beginning, Shades of a Blue Orphanage. I just don't know where they're at right now.
Okay.
I have them all mixed up. But I have that. I have what's the other one? I have the one you were talking about.
This is what happens when you work off the cuff.
I forgot.
Nightlife, right, Ernesto? Do you have that one?
Yeah, I do. I do have Nightlife.
I
I don't
love
know where.
Nightlife.
Oh my god! Don't ask me right now. I don't know where it is.
Well, you
I got
showed most of them off, man. You showed
I
most
got
of
them
them.
all piled up. I forgot. But I
Yeah.
have, like I said, I have everything up to Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah,
But
you guys got a lot more collection than I do. I mean, I've got like
this one is hard to find. This one, the Chinatown and Thunder and Lightning in Canada, especially this
yeah.
condition. I mean, you'll never
5
see them. I
editions.
never seen them.
Yeah, I only see Helen Ready 8-tracks when I go to my local antique store. So,
You know, but
but yeah,
I do have all of them. Trust me, I do have Nightlife. I have Fighting. I just don't know where they're at.
awesome, man.
What's your favorite Thin Lizzy album?
My favorite? Oh, that's easy. That's Life is Dangerous.
Okay.
Live album, huh?
How about if you were to go studio?
A studio album? Oh,
Yes.
that's a good one.
That's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a tough one.
Hey,
Um,
I'll say fighting, man. I think that's
you
my
say
favorite one.
Fighting? I would
Yep.
probably say,
Nice.
since I'm an 80s guy, I would probably say Thunder and Lightning.
Okay.
Nice, man. Yeah, cool.
But here's a special one. This is I just recently got this. This is the box set, Nightlife and Fighting.
Oh,
Yeah, man. I've been seeing stuff about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
I
pretty
just
cool.
got it. I got it like about a month ago.
Awesome.
Yeah, I haven't even opened it.
I love the art though. You know how they
Yeah,
combine the yeah.
I had
It's
to get
awesome.
it, dude. I had to get it. This is
My CD copy of Fighting too. It has like a flip, like it has the U.S. and the U.K. cover. I
yeah,
always keep that U.K. cover on the front.
yeah.
I think they look
Man,
cooler on that one.
you got to get this, John. You got to get this.
Is that vinyl or CD?
Oh, CD. They
Okay.
didn't release
Oh,
it on
it's
vinyl yet.
I knew that came out. I hadn't seen it out in a while yet.
Yeah, it took a while to get here, because of all the, you know, shipping and all that.
That's one good thing about Lizzie though, man. They're always like releasing stuff from the
Yeah,
vaults
yeah.
and giving the fans a lot of stuff. So
Hey, when they released that, when they said that was coming out, I jumped on it because I said, they're gonna sell out and they're gonna be hard to find. They're gonna cost a lot of money, you know.
100%, yeah.
But this is an important album too, if you're a Thin Lizzy fan.
Oh yeah, it's a
Very
must own,
important.
I would say, you know. I think, if you want the whole story, I mean, this is kind of
Yeah,
the period on the story, so you kind of have to have this to me.
yeah. I mean, this is what I think Lizzy would have done if they would have kept on going, and that sound and everything, it would have just been amazing. The keyboards, the drumming, I think
Yeah.
this just sums it up, this album. I mean, that's my opinion.
So, how would you both rank Thin Lizzy life on a scale of 1 to 10?
Logan, you want to go first?
Well, I'll go an 8, man. I think
Yeah,
it's that good. I think it's worth an 8, you know.
yeah. I would go a 9.
So a 9?
Cool.
A 9.
Yep.
Me, it's when I ranked this on my series earlier this year, I went 8.5.
Right.
And I said, this is an album you don't want to sleep on. I think it's better than a lot of reviews out there say, a lot of critics out there say they sound tired. Phil sounds tired at times. I don't
Right.
think he sounds tired all the time. Maybe at this point, I would go 8 on this instead of maybe
Right.
8.5. But I still think it's very good. It's an album I like a lot. It's not one
Yeah.
that I love,
Right.
but still, if you're a big fan of Thunder and Lightning
Right.
and you're a fan of John Sykes's work, it's a must own.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's just some of the songs, I don't think some of the songs needed to be repeated off of Live and Dangerous. I would have put at least one or maybe two more songs off of Chinatown.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that we got the guest guitarist here at the end
Yeah.
with Eric Bell doing the lead on the rocker. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Gary Moore, of course, on Black Rose. And then you have
Eric Bell.
Eric Bell on the rocker. And then you have Scott and Brian with their wonderful dueling guitar leads at the end on Emerald. I think it's very good. And they do a good job at the newer songs. A lot of them have a lot more kick to them.
Yeah.
This is Thin Lizzy, Life or Life Live. So, to all of you who've been watching, thank you so much for watching. What do you think of this album? How would you compare this album with Live and Dangerous or some of their other archival live albums that have come out in most recent years? What are your favorite songs by Thin Lizzy? What's your favorite studio album by Thin Lizzy? Isn't Phil Lynott one of the most soulful singers and lyricists that we've ever had in rock and roll? How about all these wonderful guitarists that have come through the band? Isn't Brian Downey one of the best drummers around? Please let us know in the comments what you think of Thin Lizzy's Life. Ernesto, Logan, thank you both so much for joining me today and talking about this live album that does not get enough love or recognition. Thin Lizzy, Life.
Thanks so much for having me on again, John. It's always a pleasure, man. Love coming on here.
Right back at you, Logan.
Thanks, John.
You're very
always a pleasure.
Okay, so Logan, what do y'all have going on Slogan's Rock and Metal Extravaganza?
Well, on the Extravaganza this weekend, I think Sydney's going to be doing. He contacted this band, or I think this band got a hold of him. We played their album. Their name's Sarvella. They're from Vermont. We played them as part of their our state to state obscurities show we did, and the main guy, I believe his name is Brian Sarvella. He passed away a little while ago. But the band actually contacted Sydney, I believe, after they must have seen us. We played their demo. They had a demo in 1993 called Powerful Pleasure. And I guess they're going to come on and Sydney's going to like interview them. I might be a part of that. We'll see. I might be traveling that day. So, but yeah, we got that going on. And then Sunday, we're starting this thing at the end of every month. Sydney's going to like ask, or, he might make some a short video about this to try to get people like their attention on this. But we're gonna do like a request kind of hangout for the end of each month. We started that. It kind of got inspired from our 1 year anniversary show we did last month. So we're kind of just like asking, people, you guys, whoever wants to, give us a song to play, on the show, and
I was on
we'll
there.
play
I
it.
think.
I think you were on there. Yeah. So we're gonna start doing that every month. So I know Sydney's got like 10 or 11 tunes picked for. I think he's gonna do it this Sunday. So
right.
Come hang out if you got time and enjoy some tunes, man.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Ernesto, do you have any upcoming appearances?
Oh man, I wish I was doing more stuff with Sydney and Logan, but I've been so busy and stuff with work and stuff. But I'm still doing logos, I'm still doing designs, and I got some stuff lined up probably next year. So little surprises here and there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Very good.
Gotta thank Ernesto for our logo too, man.
No doubt about it.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let me just say this. Wish you guys a Merry Christmas, by the way.
Merry Christmas.
I want to thank you guys for letting me, collaborate with you guys and work with you guys.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate, you letting me do this and working with some ideas with you guys and,
Yeah, tell you guys Merry Christmas and everybody watching. I know it'll be belated, but happy holidays and all that good stuff. So
yep.
Thank you so much, guys. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to both you and your families. and a Merry Christmas to all of you who are watching. This will be coming out on Saturday, December 27 at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be belated, but Merry Christmas to all of you, your families, your friends, and your communities. Thank you all so much for watching today. Do what you love, and we'll talk to you soon.